Ready? Okay, now this is some wax that I took out of the hive. It had some one of them or two of them had some wax moths on them. We were using them in the other hives. So what did I do? Well, in the middle of summer, it's hard to do anything with them because they're pliable or they're wet. But we put them in the freezer, and this is something, and another reason why we do our work in the winter time. See how easy that came out? Okay, so if you were to do that in the sunlight, it would be all melted and hard to fool with. But there you go. So that's another little bit. Now through this whole blog right here, we're going to be doing little bits and pieces of things. So now we're going to go down to the hives themselves, and we're going to do something. We'll see, okay? We definitely have workers here. They've been hanging out around the sides, and I've thought, well, we really need to put these or combine these bees together because they're older. How old? Well, nurse bees would quickly combine with the other hive, but we're going to have a problem with this. But the idea here was to go ahead and perhaps take some newspaper and take this hive over here and strengthen it. So we're probably going to do that because we know they don't have any pheromone. What I wanted to show here is that they are working.
Okay.
Okay, we're on. Okay, it's come time for us to make a decision. It's the second week in August. We've been experimenting since about the second week in June, which when we started was way too late to do any experimentation, but we did it anyway, and we've gone through all kinds of little phases. And let me see, first we had a little swarm come in about the size of a baseball into a nuke, and so we added a couple of brood to that and developed that one nuke. Then we went ahead and we made two nukes, and look at them on fire. Anyway, from that we went ahead with the nukes and we failed. Time of year was a problem. Okay, by that time it was July. Then we went ahead and we started this colony over here, again stealing brood from our mother hive. So we kept stressing this hive and stressing this colony over here, a strong colony, but we've stressed it to the point to where this colony right here has a lot of eggs and a lot of bees. They are all daughters of this hive right here. So the decision was, okay, what do we try again and make a queen? But here we're already in August. We've had problems with wax moths. We had, I think, the second one, a wax moth. The first one we went through a colony, and then we did wax moths, and now they're a big problem, reducing the inside cover and keeping them out. So, so now the decision is, let's go ahead and strengthen this colony here, or maybe both. But before we do, we have to recognize that these bees in this colony here have no pheromone, but they're old enough to be field bees or forages. So we really don't know what's going to happen. Now remember, a nurse bee will readily be accepted to a colony. But because these are older bees, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a frame out and we're going to set it right next to the entrance here and see what happens. It's late, night is coming on, and this is purposely that we're doing this, so that during the night they'll either march in or they won't. The guard bees will either kill them or not. Normally we would just take those nurse bees and just shake them in to strengthen our hives. But we're not going to do that today, so let's go ahead and get into this hive and take a couple of frames out and put them here, and I'm going to put one in the apiary as well. Okay. Notice the entrance. The bees have come in. It's been closed up a lot to keep the wax moths out, and they're defending it fairly well. But what I want you to notice, I've been taking care of these bees, and I don't want to anymore. So even though I could use these bees up here, these bees should have no pheromone whatsoever.
It's not that he don't want to take care of them. He knows he has to put them together for them to live through the winter months with no queen.
Let's put a little bit of smoke there, just over the top.
You're going to just check to make sure there's no queen cell?
No, there isn't.
Okay.
Their behavior, one of the things, as Brenda just mentioned, their behavior is they are not flying out to get nectar, where the other beehive, of course, is. Here we go again. Everybody's wanting to climb up. Now, in the event that these are just seeking a queen, they should go in pretty quick. So here we go. There they are. Let's just set them right next to here.
I'm sorry.
See if these other bees are going to accept them. They could kill them because these bees are so old.
Should they not be closer to the...
Well, I think they'll take their time and walk up through here. Let's see how these manage them. We're taking a chance, but usually I would just take the bees and shake them off in the hive. But because I already know how old these bees are, let's let them accept them at their own rate. Because they have no pheromone, or they've been all summer without pheromone, they should, well, we don't know for sure what's going to happen. I've never done this for this length of time.
Usually you would just put a piece of newspaper and set the whole top on.
Okay, good. That's, some people do it, some people don't. But because these bees are so old, what we are going to do, and we'll do up in the apiary, is we're going to put a piece of newspaper on here, take the whole hive over, set it right on top of it. That ought to give us a lot of bees here. So that's for tomorrow, and let's go ahead and cut it right there.
Go.
Okay, hi folks again. We're doing little blogs, right, or little sects here. And this one is for wax moths, for foundation that you may have, or you want to preserve it right now and keep wax moths out of it. So what I have here is paradichlorobenzene, or comes under the name paramoth. But this will keep the moths out of it. So I have my little spoon here that I use. Now I'm going to start by shaking a little off in the bottom. You want to get a closer view of that, Brent? Okay, let me put this in here. And then we're going to take a little piece of newspaper and put it on top of that. And we're going to build like a hive. But they will eat this up this time of year. Remember, this is the first week in August. This is the worst time of the year. And I know I speak so much of it, but it's just so disheartening. We do all sorts of work, and then have these nasty little smelly animals. Come in. Now, different folks do different things. This is the way I like to do it. Well, that's about all of it. Okay, so if you turn around, Brenda, these four here, I'm going to use as I clean up the other two colonies that I have outside. We really don't know what we're going to do with the experimental colony yet, because in the last little scene up, there's a little bit of a, well, we'll put that there. a little bit of a place where we can get in, but we'll just put tape around that. Okay, now it's a little bit more paper. Now, the good thing about this is if you just take this out and leave it a couple of days later, it'll be good to go ahead and get back into the hive. In other words, it's not poisonous. But you don't want to put it directly the first day back onto a colony. Let it air out for a day or so. There you go. I'll put this one on top of that. Here we go. That. And
You gonna put some on top?
yeah, I'm gonna put some tape.
No, you gonna put some on top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit on top, yeah. As you can see, I'm not doing too well with my newspaper. But, you know, a few minutes of looking at it and getting the idea. Do not use mothballs from the store.
That was a good bit on there, babe.
Well, we'll get a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's put this back in here. And again, Sachet Paramoth insecticide. Okay. So, we'll put our cover on here, and that'll protect it for the winter. Good to go. Thank you, Brenda.